This is the PetroServe USA Bison pregame show.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the PetroServe USA pregame show. I'm Mike Morkin, and yes, normally I'm outside in the tailgate area. I'll be out there in just a few minutes. But what I wanted to do is give you a little insight into where some of the magic happens for not only the pregame show, but our Bison football game coverage. This is the command center. This is where there are a lot of bells and whistles that bring you all of the highlights and happenings of each game, not only pregame, but the game as well. And these are some of the talented folks that bring it for you. Folks, can you wave to the folks at home? Yeah, there we go. We are happy to be all a part of this broadcast, and we hope that you enjoy the broadcast as well. So without further ado, let's have Jamal standing by in 3 seconds, and let's dissolve to him, shall we? Let's get the game going. The pregame show about to begin in 3, 2, 1, dissolve to Jamal.
Well, thanks a lot for the cue, Mike. Now, I don't know who let you in the truck, but you got to remember, if you break it, you buy it, my friend, so be careful in there. Well, welcome everybody to the PetroServe USA Bison Football pregame show, live at Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome. I'm your host, Jamal Spencer. Well, it seems like just a few short years ago that this Bison senior class were freshmen, ending their regular season with a loss at Missouri State. How time flies. They've won 2 national championships, 3 straight Missouri Valley titles, and today with a win can wrap up the #1 overall seed in the playoffs, along with the first undefeated regular season since 1990. All they have to do is beat a South Dakota team that's 4-7, and they have nothing to play for today but pride. We'll have more on the game a little bit later in the pregame show, but for now, let's talk about how the fans have been entertaining themselves outside in tailgate town. It's been a cold one today, but as our own Mike Morgan found out in this week's Proceed Tailgate Report, fans are finding their own ways to warm up.
Thanks, Jamal. I don't know if you can see my breath or not, but it's a little chilly out here. They just said that the temperature did go above 0, so I guess that's the positive as we continue our tailgating features. And these are some of the diehard folks that aren't going to let the weather bother them a bit. Kent, how are you doing?
Real good, real good.
What do we got on the grill?
We've got elk sausage.
And this is just recently taken elk?
We took it last Friday, a week ago Friday, so.
All right, well, I'm going to have to sample it
Yep,
here, but
you bet.
cold weather a problem at all?
Never,
Yeah?
no.
No, the folks here don't seem to be. Well, what else do we have
We've
here?
got 3 different soups. We're gonna have a little soup contest ourselves, so.
A soup contest.
Yep,
okay.
and Jackie made the first one.
Chicken wild rice.
Chicken wild rice, Jackie?
Chicken wild rice soup, yep.
Okay, is that pretty good too?
I think so.
I bet you do. I'll bet you do. I got to try some of this elk here.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much here. Oh, man, that's very good.
Yeah,
Is
White
there,
Sulphur Springs made this for us, so.
is there a recipe you can share?
Nope, we didn't get it. We had it processed right out there, so.
Just eat it and don't ask any
Eat it and don't ask. Yep.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Temperatures don't seem to bother anyone. As someone mentioned, it's not necessarily the heat they have to worry about. It's the humidity we need to deal with. So we'll send it back in. They're tailgating.
Thanks, Mike. That was the Proceed Tailgate Report. Time now for another North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. And this week's trivia question: 1 bushel of soybeans produces how many pounds of oil? We'll have the answer after this break. Time now to answer the North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. 1 bushel of soybean produces how many pounds of oil? 11 pounds of oil. Well, Craig Bold has spent a total of 11 years here at NDSU, and his parents, Phil and Bertie, have been with him every step of the way. Our own Brian Shawn sat down with him in a series called The Strength of the Bull Herd.
When do you guys remember the first time Craig had anything to do with the sport of football?
We were in a small town called David City, Nebraska, and it was north of Lincoln, small town up there. And I think he was about 5 or 6. And every Saturday during football season, we would go down to the high school, and I think it ended up with, it was kind of a Protestants against the Catholics, and I was the ref. And that's when we started playing football at that time. And I guess he's been going ever since. So.
Bertie, what was it like watching him play all through growing up? Were you always worried about him getting hurt? Were you a fan of him playing football or not so much?
Oh, he loved football, and so we just let him do what he wanted to do. He's always done that. And yeah, I worried about him getting hurt, but you know, I remember when he broke his leg. So I ran downstairs to the office where Phil was at. I said, "Did the hospital call you?" And he said, "Yes." So we went over there and we went in the emergency room. We didn't know what had happened. And they said that he broke his leg. I said, "That's all, thank goodness."
What kind of kid was he, I guess, just
Very
growing up with him?
focused.
Yeah?
He's always been focused. I remember when he was real little, he told my mom, he said, they were talking about sayings, and she said, "Craig, when you grow up," she said, "do you want to be a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond?" He said, "Grandma, I want to be a big fish in a big pond." And you know, he is.
When did you know that he wanted to be a college football coach? When did it kind of dawn on him, this is what I'm going to do?
In high school, I think he helped his, after he had a shoulder separation, he helped the high school coach his senior year also. And I think that's exact, and I think probably being with Tom at the university, you know, and when he was, back then they had a freshman team at the university, and Tom gave him a chance to coach that. And that's when he really got his start and was disciplined that way.
Which one of you is Craig most like?
Oh, neither one of us, really. I would say he's got the determination of Phil, more or less. I mean, he doesn't ever give up on anything.
Hear more from Phil and Bertie at halftime, and we'll have more on the PetroServe USA Bison Football pregame show when we return. Welcome back to the PetroServe USA Bison Football pregame show, coming to you in crystal clear, high definition. Let's take a look at this week's Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report, tell you who's banged up, and we start at the cornerback position with Marcus Williams battling that knee injury. I think he's out today, game time decision. Brendan Pierre with a hamstring issue is probable at this point in time. Fullback Andrew Grothman will not play. He has a hip pointer, and linebacker Pierre G. Tucker had shoulder surgery. He is out for the season. For more, we go to Brian Shawn standing by with team doctor Bruce Pyatt.
Thank you very much, Jamal. I'm joined by Dr. Bruce Pyatt, team physician for North Dakota State University football and also a member of the team at Sanford Health and Orthopedic Sports Medicine. Bruce, I know an injury that is maybe one of the most common injuries we see are hamstring injuries. And I know we've talked in the past about preventing hamstring injuries as a really important thing, but once you got it, there's several degrees of a hamstring injury. Can you explain those a little bit?
Yeah, the most important thing to us is where it occurs. The most common one is that it occurs in the belly of the muscle, kind of the meat of the muscle. And with those, there's not a lot we can do as an orthopedic surgeon except kind of set up a atmosphere that allows it to heal for them. The ones we really get concerned about are those that occur where the tendon attaches the muscle to the bone. And sometimes those are surgical. They're rare to occur, but they can occur from time to time.
Now, I know we've talked about these hamstrings getting tightened up and everything and loosening them out. Is it possible to tear a hamstring?
Yeah, it definitely is possible that you overload it enough where you're flexing or contracting that muscle and then put a little bit of a stretch on it, and it can tear those tissue. So it does occur to almost everybody in sports at some times with it. It's really a difficult problem because once the athlete has it, it's tough for them to give it the time to rest because it's not something that completely debilitates them, but it doesn't allow them to perform at their highest level. So they keep trying to push and push and push with it, whereas what they really need is some time to lay off and rest.
All right, thanks for the time as always, Dr. Pyatt. It's been a fun season here at NDSU and all on the road this season.
It really has been. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, let's do that. Sounds like a lot of fun. That's your Sanford Health and Orthopedic Sports Medicine injury report. We'll take one quick time out and be with more after this.
Time now to give away some gift cards. This week's winners are Sean R. from Fargo and Nathan S. from West Fargo. You've each won a $500 gift card to PetroServe. Make sure you register at a PetroServe location near you. Time now for the Bobcat Heavy Lifting Players to Watch report. We start with Sam Ojuri, wants to move on up the Bison all-time rushing list, as well as break the drought. Hasn't scored a touchdown in 4 games and finished strong as he's over 100 yards away from getting to 1,000 this season. Tyler Starr, the linebacker from South Dakota, leads the team in tackles for loss, has forced 4 fumbles so far this year that leads the team, and slow the big bodies, the tight ends and the fullbacks for North Dakota State. We'll have all the Senior Day festivities and Brian Shaw, Kevin Feeney, and Lee Timmerman coming up next.